played here in Duisburg as they've tied it up at 7. As we get ready for another poll, Jude, is there someone that you've played with over the years who could make the disc do like an S-curve in midair, or always was the guy you wanted to have the pull?
There are certainly, every team has their best puller, the person who can float it up there, keep it in the air, and get it nice and deep so that the defense can get down there and set things up.
And it seems like it's, for these two teams, the tallest guy on the field is Rogacki, puts it into the end zone. And in football, you know, you get a touchback, but the U.S. has to take over from where they caught it in their own end zone.
Well, they've got 70-some-odd yards to go. Australia seems to be playing their return flick defense, kind of poaching the lane, allowing the dump passes to come off. The U.S. seems to be having no trouble finding that open person and beating that defense of the Australians.
And the U.S. about at midfield now, and it's Deaver working it to the left sideline. U.S., like you said, making their way up. A little Anheuser attempt toward the end zone. Was he able to come down with it? Zipperstein made a dive.
Looks like Zip caught it out of bounds, but you're right, there was a foul called on the throw. It's going back to the thrower.
And now he was trying to make a catch toward the sideline there. As long as 1 foot is in, he's cool, right? Even if he lands out of bounds.
As long as 1 foot is in bounds and no part is out of bounds when he catches it. If he were laying across the line, it would be out of bounds. But as long as he's towing 1 toe in and makes the catch, it would be good.
And now Rogacki had checked it in, and then Watson called for a little more contact, and now they're going for the Anheuser attempt again. Got a man there, and there is a score for the U.S. as Jeff Easton comes down with it in the corner. U.S. up 8-7.
The U.S. gets a great goal. That's a wonderful look to the back of the end zone, wonderful field awareness. They put a nice pass up there. U.S. takes the lead once again.
And it's nice to work the sideline. You can throw the low pass, and no one's allowed to touch it.
As long as there's no defender around and they can't get it, you can wait on it, wait for it to come back in bounds, and score the goal for your team.
A nice hook play there. Great throw by Watson. Guy was on the Stanford 2002 National Title Club team. And that was a long goal, over 35 yards.
He saw his man cutting, and Lefty put up an excellent pass to Easton.
Watson working on a PhD in political science at Berkeley, and the U.S. working on an 8-7 lead on the Aussies. You could see how much the wind is picking up. Let's see how it affects the pole. The pole is gone. It's in orbit. Nope, there it is.
Well, did land in bounds. Not a bad pull from Watson, and the Australians start working it back upfield.
It seems like the wind is also keeping the disc in the air a little longer, too.
The wind is definitely affecting things.
Yeah, foul called here as Edie had completed the pass.
I think a pick was called downfield. Start to check it in, but the players weren't set, so we're going to have to wait for everybody to return to where they were when the pick was called. And Cotty checks it back in.
And the U.S. in some pretty tight coverage here as the Aussies try to work it up the left side. Wentworth, she loves getting grass stains, man. She went down there and made that catch. Di Werman in a little bit of trouble. And the Aussies, they're getting dirty, but they're holding on to it.
They are getting dirty. They're putting passes a little bit away from their person, but Owen and others are making great catches with the disc in the grass, saving it just before it hits the ground.
Are players trying to keep the disc lower when it's windy? Because the higher you go, the more susceptible it is to the wind?
Absolutely. A high disc in the wind could wind up anywhere. You definitely want to keep it low with lots of spin on it. Keep that disc in control. Put it into your receiver's gut.
Yeah, we can see the contact there by Chase. He raised his hand, called it on himself. And a lot of these guys take pride in calling the penalties on themselves before anyone else can.
They certainly do. This is, as we said, both teams have been playing remarkably spirited ultimate all tournament long. It's really nice to see these guys come out and play at this level with that kind of respect and spirit for one another.
And Dowell with a wobbler to Owen Shepard, and he's looking to put one toward the end zone. There's the pass, and a one-handed grab for the Aussies, tying it up at 8.
The long arms of Di Warman just reached out there and made that grab. I think people were getting a little tired on that point. Lots of picks and fouls. People weren't moving fast. But long arms don't ever get tired, and she managed to pull that one in.
People huffing and puffing a bit. And one thing I do like with Ultimate is the fact that, you know, you score, you stay right there, and the other team has to take the long walk.
That's right. It's not quite make it, take it, but you get to rest while they have to go for a walk.
And no surprise, it'll be Ragaki with the pull. Oh, look at the wave has made it overseas.
We've got a little wave action. The fans are absolutely packed. Everybody's having a really good time. The crowd is really loud, and they're really getting into it.
And it really is something because while the wave is very impressive, these people have stayed in the seats on a very rainy and windy day here in Duisburg. How big is the following getting now for Ultimate?
Well, it really is worldwide. This game is actually scheduled to be broadcast later on, and people are making plans to watch it on TV with their friends. Everybody wants to see it. It doesn't matter where you are. This is the World Games Championship match, and everybody wants to see what goes on. And
a lot of them are seeing it here on CSTV. Adam Zucker and Jude Travers Frazier with you. We are tied at 8. That was a nifty throw.
Well, it was a nifty throw. The Australians have come out in a zone. They've got Tom Ragaki on the mark with his big arms, hoping to intimidate some of the shorter U.S. handlers. And that was a great over-the-top pass to break that zone up.
Now, is he allowed to try to tip the Frisbee on its release, or is he going to always make contact with the opposing player?
You can't touch the disc while it's still in the thrower's hands, but once it's out of their hands, if you can get a piece of it, you'll probably get a turnover out of it.
I would think more than anything that Ragaki blinds you when you're trying to throw it because he's just so big.
It's got to be hard, but as we just saw, Deb Cusson had no problem. She's such a good handler. She's got such great pivots that even on a high stall count, she was able to pivot and get off a dump pass to Will Deaver.
Some of these U.S. players are just peeking through his armpits.
I don't know that I'd ever want to be peeking through there, but I suppose if you're at that height, it's what you got to do.
Don't get too close. And I guess there, Ragaki was too close as Eastman calls the penalty, and they're talking about it.
A little bit of a foul, but I don't think Tom's going to contest that one. Stahl's coming back in on 0.
Seems like they're getting along fine now.
The U.S. is having trouble with this zone, though. The Australians are managing to keep them way downfield near their own end zone. Oh, here we go. They're breaking out of it.
Yeah, up the right sideline, and now across the field. Oh, the layout attempt by Fontenette. Could not get the one-handed grab, and right back come the Aussies. Matt Dowell, the big flick hook to Ragaki, and he comes down with it.
The big man definitely made a big play right there in the end zone. He finished